Welcome to the Legally Blind Geek YouTube channel. Hi there, my name is Mike Tettleton. In today's video, we are going to pay special attention to the setup and use of the iOS low vision magnifier found on all iDevices. Yes, that's right, iPhones, iPads, even the iPods. All of those that have a good digital camera have this in their accessibility features. Now, some of you may rely on your Ruby XL. It's a great digital magnifier. It does a good job for what it's designed for, but it's not the end-all be-all. Subsequently, a lot of us rely on our hand magnifiers we carry around in our pocket. I know I have one as well. Now, the difference being is the magnifier feature that is found in accessibility features of your iPhones, iPads, and iPods do all of the things that those devices do in one package, plus a lot more. So if that kind of thing interests you, please stay tuned. Okay, welcome back to the channel. As promised, we're going to get into the nuts and bolts of setting up the low vision magnifier on your iOS device. iPhones, iPads are pretty much the same. What we're going to do is we're going to start by going into settings, and then from settings we're going to set up accessibility. And in previous versions of the operating systems, you would go to the Generals tab, find the accessibilities folder, and find your settings there. Now in the 13.1.2 update, accessibility has its own folder, if you will, so we're going to open that. Now, I have not turned on voiceover yet for this illustration. I'm going to go ahead and do so now. If you'll look at the top of the list, there's voiceover that says it's off. I'm going to select that, and then it's going to give me the option of turning voiceover on. Now when I turn voiceover on, you're going to hear it start to speak in the background.
Voiceover on. Settings. Landscape. Voiceover on. Voiceover off. Voiceover on. Settings. Landscape.
So I'm going to back out of that now that voiceover is on. You're going to be hearing what it sounds like in the background.
Accessibility. Back button. Accessibility. Heading.
And it does change the way the gestures work. So if we, like I tap on the header, the description.
Accessibility features help you customize your iPad for your individual needs.
It's going to read that to you. So I'm going to go down to where it says magnifier. I'm going to select magnifier by a one finger touch.
Magnifier. On. Button.
And it tells us that the magnifier's on. I'm going to go ahead and double tap on that after I've selected it with voiceover on. You have to select it with one tap, then double tap it to open it.
Magnify. Accessibility. Back
and as
button.
you can see, I have magnifier turned on via the little slider.
Magnifier. On.
And then, as is Apple's, they always add a little description.
Magnifier lets you use your device's camera to quickly magnify your surroundings. When enabled, triple-click the home button to start
and then
magnifier.
The next option is the auto exposure.
Auto adjust exposure. On.
I just found it convenient to turn that on. It seems as though it does help out when you're going from like inside the house where it's a little bit dark to a brighter environment, like you go outside or whatnot. It automatically adjusts the exposure so that it makes it easier to read, so you're not always going into the control center and turning the brightness on, up, down, and whatnot. And talking about control center, let's go ahead and take a look at that real quick, because we will have to put the magnifier in the control center so we can access it easy enough. And I'll show you how to do that. In voiceover, basically if you'll tap accessibility, back.
Accessibility. Back button. Accessibility. Magnifier. On. Button.
And then accessibility.
Selected.
And
Accessibility.
I'm going to swipe
button.
from the right to the left.
Selected. Accessibility. Home screen and dock.
And that goes
Button.
up.
Selected. Accessibility. Home screen and dock. Display and brightness. Button. Control center.
Control
Button.
center. I'm going to open Control Center.
Control center. Heading. Swipe down from the top right edge to open Control Center.
Access within apps.
Access within apps.
That
On.
means we can triple click the home button. The menu will pop up. It gives us the accessibility features that we can turn on and off that we have activated.
Allow access to Control Center within apps. When disabled, you can still access Control Center from the home screen.
To access that controls,
Customize controls. Button.
a single finger tap to select it, double finger
Add and
tap
organize
to
additional
open,
controls to appear in Control Center.
and then things
Include.
that are included.
Heading.
I've got the
Flashlight.
flashlight, I've got
Timer.
the timer,
Screen recording. Stopwatch. Apple TV remote. Magnifier.
and magnifier is included. Now from here, to access magnifier, I'm going to triple click my home button. It's going to give me a menu that I can choose from.
Alert. Accessibility shortcuts.
As you can see, we've got magnifier.
Magnifier.
Here. I can touch
Button.
it to select it, double tap it to open.
Magnification. Portrait. Magnifier.
And I've got a little box here that my favorite hand magnifier comes in, my Eschenbach. And I'm going to try to move this around so that maybe we can get an idea as to how this works. If you pay attention to the right hand side of the screen, there is a little button that you can, little shutter button. You can take a snapshot of an image once you've got it centered up and magnified the way that is easier for you to read. And then there's a slider that goes from top to bottom. You select the slider with your finger.
Zoom level.
One finger.
1.0 times.
Selected
Adjustable.
And if I
Zoom level.
grab a hold of
1.0
that
times.
and double
Adjustable.
tap it,
1.0
move
times,
that up,
1.5 times, 2.2 times,
see
3.0
how it
times, 4.2 times,
magnifies as we
4.9
get
times,
larger.
5.1 times, 5.4 times.
try to move that around a little bit so maybe and to see how it magnifies and auto focuses on Eschenbach, I believe is the way that's pronounced. And then if you get it focused where you need it, you can punch the little shutter button
Freeze frame button.
and then it locks it into place once you select. Come on. Select it.
Freeze frame
and then
button. Freeze frame dimmed.
you hear the noise.
Snapshot
Now I can move
5.4 times.
my iPad
Adjustable.
any which way I want to, and it is locked on to that image. To move out of that,
Zoom level 5.4
Select
times.
focus.
Adjustable. 5.4 times.
then it goes
2.1
back
times.
to-
1.3 times. 2.5 times.
that same image, but it'll zoom in and out on that. So if you need to take a larger photo
Zoom
of
level
something,
zoom level 2.5
Keep in
2.5
mind
times.
that
1.5 times.
you can't move it
1.3
around.
times.
All it'll do is
5.0
zoom into
times.
what's on the center
7.3
of the
times.
screen.
11.9 times.
that's
15.0
magnified
times.
all the way up.
Zoom level 15.0 times. Adjust 14.9 times. 2.2
all the
times.
way down.
1.0 times.
So that's just a quick illustration as to how you can use, or maybe I should say one way that you can use the magnifier on your iPhone or your iPad. Okay, this is a real quick down and dirty screen recording on my iPhone XS Max to illustrate how the magnifier can be a use to someone that is low vision or legally blind. So I was hoping that my little squirrel buddy would be coming through the neighborhood so I could take and zoom in on him and take a look at him and share that with you. But for some reason he's not out and about today. Maybe it's because the weather's a little bit not to his liking. But with it held in portrait mode, I tried to do it in landscape mode, but for whatever reason it doesn't want to turn the photo or the video the correct way so it looks good in landscape. So we're doing the portrait mode here. which is kind of mostly, what most people do with a phone anyway. It's more comfortable to use with one hand, hold it in one hand, and maybe use the slider with the other to zoom in and zoom out. Right now this is zoomed all the way out, and if I grab the slider and I start sliding it in, you can see that it goes all the way up to where it gets really pretty jittery. It's really hard to hold unless you hit the freeze frame. You could snap a freeze frame on something that's that far away and you can see it and take the jitter out. But for this, we're going to just move it right back in to about right here, because I can seem to hold it fairly steady that way. And then I could kind of move it up and look in the tree, and I could zoom in on, like the crotch of that tree, like if there was a little squirrel or a bird or something up there that might be interesting to see. And the same thing, you could just lock it or freeze frame it and get a good still image of the little guy so that you could kind of explore or see what the heck was going on, especially if you had like a little squirrel or a bird coming to a bird feeder or, something like this. Or if you just wanted to zoom in on the mailbox and see if the mailman had left you something in your mailbox, you could probably do that. So there's all sorts of things that you can use this thing for. And when I'm out and about in strange surroundings that I'm not really familiar with, say a grocery store, a big box store of some sort, and I want to read the signs above the aisles, I can use this for that real quick, and it kind of gives me an idea as to at least what's down this aisle, because there's not always some helpful associate around that you can ask questions to. And even when they are around, and some of those notorious big box stores, they have no idea where they've moved stuff because they move stuff around all the time. So this is something that you can use to kind of help guide your way and find your way through those situations. Hey, that concludes the setup portion on iOS low vision magnifier found on iPads and iPhones, your favorite iDevice basically. I'd be curious to find out. Please post in the comment section down below how you plan on using this magnifier, how you think it would best suit your needs. The comment section down below, please post that down there. If you have any questions or if you're unclear about something, also put your questions down there as well. That would be great. You like this video? Please remember, give us a big thumbs up. Appreciate that. Subscribe to the channel. While you subscribe, you might as well go ahead and hit that notification bell. Just ring that notification bell so when we post a new video, which we plan to do at least once a week, maybe a little bit sooner, sometimes maybe a few days late, just depends on how life happens. Life does have an influence on what we do here. In addition to that, I'll be sure and post a link in the description down below about my favorite, handheld magnifier. This little Eschenbach here, it's got the LED light in it. It's great for those operations, are great for those times when you just need something real quick right here, right in front of you. Quick glance at a can or whatnot that you've got in your hand. But that's about it as far as they go. Anything further than that, 5 foot, 10 foot away, that's when that magnifier feature on your iPhone will serve you well. Whether it's 5 feet or 50 feet away, you can just zoom right in on it. You can freeze that frame. You can take a good look at it. You can read end caps on aisles in big box stores. You can be at your home improvement store and find out where the lawn fertilizer is, when you're 50, 100 feet away from it. Or you can use it when you're traveling around town and you're out walking the street and you're trying to find an address that you're a little bit unfamiliar with. You can stand there at the corner, you can gaze down, you can zoom in and out of different storefronts, and you can find the name, find the address where you're wanting to go. Decide which is the best way to get there. If you need to be on this side of the street, that side of the street, whatever, without the need of carrying around a big heavy pair of binoculars or another monocular around your neck and stuff like that a lot of people carry. For me, it's all about less is more. The more I can get my iPhone to do, the better I like it, the more that investment pays off. So, hey, I appreciate any comments you're going to leave for me. I appreciate you subscribing, the thumbs up. Catch you in the next one.